Hey y'all, insight number 4. So we're in Acts 9 to finish up. I've got 2 from here. Same story, just kind of in 2 parts, but different meaning for us. And yeah, it's an interesting. It's good. It's good. Trust me, it's good. Okay. So this is Paul/Saul, and literally it just is. One is Greek and one is Hebrew. It's the same name. It's just like a different spelling. In a different language. Like, I know in Māori you get Hone, it's John. English version is John. And, there's different ones like that. Throughout the world, you'll have different languages. I'm sure there's a version of John in Mexican. I'm sure there's a version of John in French. Or maybe it's just said differently, but that's what it is. So it's not like he changed his name through conversion. It's just that's what's commonly believed, but it's literally just a different language version of his name. He's the same guy. But because the New Testament is predominantly Greek, from scrolls into Greek into English, he gets called Paul most of the time. So keep that in mind. Okay. Cheers, right? Right. Road to Damascus. Heard about this before? I had those road to Damascus moments. They are conversion moments. So Saul, breathing out threatenings and slaughter against the disciples of the Lord, went unto the high priest, and he got letters to go out and kill them all and do away with them. And he came to the near Damascus, and suddenly, oh my gosh, there's a light that shines from heaven, and it falls on him, and said, Why do thou persecutest me? And he said, Who art thou, Lord? So he knew it was the Lord. Who art thou? And the Lord said, I am Jesus whom thou persecutest. It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. And you're like, what? Okay, so a prick, and this says this in the Come Follow Me manual, so let's have a look. It's like what we have now as a cattle prod. So a prick was a sharp spear used to drive animals. Often the animals would kick back when pricked, which would cause the spear to sink even further into the animal's flesh. So that's like it's a bigger warning that we're still ignoring. We're hurting from it, and we know it's there, and yet we'll do it again, and have it happen again. So it's hard to keep kicking against that cattle prod. And every time you're prodded, okay, I'm prodding you, usually you're like, oh, okay, ow, that hurt, I'm not going to do that again. It might be like touching a hot stove, and you're like, oh, maybe this time it's not burning. No, it is. Okay, I've got a really bad burn now. I'll try it again tomorrow. Oh, yep, still hot, yep. It's like, don't, really, just listen. I gotta remember though, at this point, Paul's really passionate about what he felt was right. He felt this cause was right. He thought they were really trying to destroy what was Christ's church rather than being Christ's church. So he's ignoring these because he's just on this focused path without listening. He's getting those promptings and he's just going, nope, I've got this plan. And it's a good reminder for us to pause and actually say, okay, because that was our focus, are we still correct? Maybe we're wrong. Maybe we should be looking at something else. And this is again praying and listening to the Holy Ghost, which he wasn't doing yet. He's about to. So he starts a trembling at this point in verse 6, and astonished says, well, what would thou have me do? And the Lord says to him, go into the city, and you shall be told what thou must do. And the men which journeyed with him stood speechless, hearing a voice, but they didn't see anybody. Paul is, they don't. And Saul, says Saul here, arose from the earth, and when his eyes were open, he saw no man, but they led him by the hand and brought him to Damascus. So basically, he's gone blind. Now, this is both spiritual blindness because he's got physical blindness because of his spiritual blindness. So this is teaching him a lesson on blindness and listening and seeing, instead of just being caught up with those blinkers on, like those horse, where they just see that end goal and don't actually see things that change along the way and could be really important to that end goal, and actually maybe you're not correct. So he was 3 days without sight, and he didn't eat or drink either, because he's just in this, oh my gosh, please, So there was a certain disciple at Damascus named Ananias, really good man. And the Lord said to him in a vision, Ananias, and he said, behold, I am here, Lord. I'm talking about Ananias. He's like, yep, I'll help you. Don't know what it is yet, but yeah, okay, I'll go. And then the Lord said to him, arise and go to the street which is called Straight, and inquire of the house of Judas for one called Saul of Tarsus, for behold, he prayeth. and hath seen in a vision a man named Ananias coming in and putting his hand on him that he might receive his sight. And Ananias at this point answers, Lord, I've heard many things about this man, how much evil he's done, and if I go and visit him, he's got authority to kill me. Are you sure you want me to go to him? And the Lord in verse 15 says, Go thy way, for he is a chosen vessel unto me. And bless Ananias, because he's like, okay, this man has authority to kill me legally, put me to death. But the Lord wants me to go. I will go. That's incredible conversion and incredible faith. And it's something that I would like to aim for to have. I don't know that I have it all the time, but there are moments here where the request would seem contrary to safety or good sense, and yet it is the right next step. So, yeah, bless Ananias. Good man. And Ananias went his way, this is verse 17, goes into the house, puts his hand on, and he says, and the first word he says to him is, brother Saul, the Lord, even Jesus, that appeared unto thee in the way as thou camest, hath sent me, that thou mightest receive thy sight and be filled with the Holy Ghost. And immediately there fell from his eyes as if it had been scales, so just came off straight away. And he received sight forthwith and arose and was baptized. So here's a bit of a interesting one, that actually he gets the gift of the Holy Ghost before he's baptized, which is not the order of things, but this is what worked for Paul. And again, here is the unexpected deliverer in Jesus Christ bringing us a way that worked for this man. Usually it is the other way around. We'll feel those promptings of the Holy Ghost, the burning that it's true, and the gift comes later. But actually, he's filled with the Holy Ghost. Maybe he gets the gift after, but he really feels it. So it's interesting to see that. See, the Holy Ghost does exist before you're baptized. If you are ever wondering, oh, no, I have to be baptized to feel that. No, you don't. And there's the evidence right there. There's many evidences of it, but there's a really good one for you. Whether you're of our church or not, that's in the Bible. Yeah. So if you don't believe Bible, that's up to you, but there's evidence of it. So then he ate, because, got to strengthen him up again. And then he departs and he goes to hang out with who? The disciples in Damascus, the very ones he was going to kill. I guess he tears up the letters because he doesn't go back to that, the high priest, and he doesn't go through with killing any of them. And he actually goes on to learn a lot of really cool stuff. So, the calling of Saul, some points to note. He had nothing Christian going for him. He was actually Antichrist at the time. He was still called. As in, whom the Lord calls, the Lord qualifies. That's just how it works. He was passionate about a cause he believed in, yet failed to feel or see the warning pricks of it, like those pricks they call them. He lost physical and spiritual sight, which Ananias restored. We all need an Ananias in our lives, as in the Lord always sends help. If he promises he's going to send help, and he will always send help, and he has promised that he's going to send help. And 5, the very people he was going to kill took him in and taught him. And 6, most importantly, in verse 6, he asked the right question. What was that you asked? Well, let's look. And he, trembling and astonished, said, Lord, what wilt thou have me to do? That's the question. Not like, Lord, why are you doing this to me? Or why are you punishing me? No, Lord, what will you have me do? What do I need to do? You tell me and I'll do it. He asked the most important question. And again, that's what it is. I'm available. Don't quite know what you need me to do, but I'll do it. Right? That's what we want to be like. So that's a basic overview of this conversion story. But have a look at that one with your family, because I think there's a lot of points that you could bring up in there, whether they're children, youth, adults, whatever. I think that would be quite a good discussion to structure a lesson around as well. As into, bring in that, how we're resisting the Holy Ghost, how we're feeling when we get it and we ignore it, and how it can literally cause spiritual blindness. Maybe not physical blindness, but spiritual blindness. So have a look at that. All right, hang about. We're going to talk about what happens at the end of this chapter. It's a good one.